Hello and welcome. Artificial intelligence is getting more and more powerful basically by the day. But here's the thing, our trust in it, it just isn't keeping up. So how do we close that gap? Well, the answer lies in building a really solid system for holding AI accountable. And that's what we're explaining today, AI assessments. Let's get into it.
It all really just boils down to this one simple question. We're being asked to trust AI with, well, everything. Our health, our money, even our job prospects. But how do we actually know we can? What really makes an AI system safe, or fair, or reliable? Without a good answer, we're basically building our future on some pretty shaky ground.
Think about it for a second. We don't just blindly trust other complex things in our lives. We have financial audits to make sure our banks are legit. We have these super rigorous safety tests for our cars. These are established, systems of trust. So the real question becomes, what's the equivalent for AI?
Okay, so to really get why this is so urgent, we first have to wrap our heads around the scale of this problem. The gap between what AI could do and how much the public actually trusts it, well, it's getting wider. And the stakes? They couldn't be higher. First up, let's talk about the incredible upside here. An estimate from EY Parthenon suggests that generative AI, just by itself, could add up to 3.4 trillion, that's trillion with a T, US dollars to the global GDP by 2033. That is a gigantic wave of innovation and growth just waiting to happen.
But, and this is a big but, here's the other side of that coin. While the opportunity is absolutely huge, the risk is growing just as fast, if not faster. The OECD, they track harmful AI incidents, and honestly, the trend is pretty scary. Back in November 2022, there were 32 incidents. Fast forward to early 2025, and that number has exploded to over 600. That's almost a 20-fold jump in a little over a year. And people are noticing. A recent EY study shows there's a real crisis of confidence brewing. A majority of people, we're talking 58%, they just don't believe organizations will hold themselves accountable when AI messes up. And over half think companies won't even follow the rules they set for themselves. See, this isn't just a tech problem anymore. It's a fundamental trust problem. So, if that's the problem, what on earth is the solution? This brings us to the whole point of this explainer, AI assessments, and how they can pave a real path towards trust. At its heart, an AI assessment is really just what it says it is. A structured evaluation. It's a formal, methodical process for checking an AI system against a specific set of rules. Now, you might hear other names for this, like AI audits or AI assurance, but they're all getting at the same core idea, having a consistent way to produce a judgment that you can actually count on. Now, these assessments usually fall into three main buckets. First, you've got governance assessments. Think of these as looking inward, at a company's own internal rules and how they manage risk. Then there are conformity assessments, which look outward to check if an AI is following actual laws and industry standards. And finally, and this one's so important, you have performance assessments, which measure what the AI actually does. Is it accurate? Is it fair? Is it reliable? Okay, having a tool like assessments is fantastic. But the situation we're in right now for actually using them is, well, to put it mildly, it's kind of like the Wild West out there. Everybody agrees we need some rules, but nobody can seem to agree on what those rules should be. Just get a load of this number from the OECD. You've got almost 70 countries, and they've cooked up over 1,000 different policy ideas. That kind of fragmentation creates this confusing, totally inconsistent patchwork of regulations for any company that's just trying to do the right thing and use AI responsibly. And to see what I mean, just look at two major policies side by side. The EU's AI Act is super broad. It wants to protect fundamental rights by looking at a company's entire management system. But then you have New York City's Local Law 144, which is laser-focused on just one thing, stopping bias in hiring by looking only at the final outcome of a system. Same goal, trust, but totally different ways of getting there. So here's the crucial takeaway. When the rules for assessment are all over the place, the trust they're supposed to build is going to be all over the place too. A company could be doing everything right in one jurisdiction but be totally non-compliant somewhere else. And that just leaves everyone, customers, investors, all of us, feeling confused and skeptical.
So, how do we fix this whole mess? How do we get from this chaotic Wild West to a real functioning system of trust? Well, the good news is there's a pretty clear path forward. Any really effective assessment framework, it all comes down to answering three pretty simple questions. First, what are we assessing? The objective and the scope have to be crystal clear. Second, how do we assess it? The methods need to be consistent and reliable so we can compare apples to apples. And finally, who does the assessing? This has to be someone who's an expert, who is objective, and who is ultimately accountable for their judgment. So what's the bottom line here? Well, for businesses, the message is pretty clear. Don't sit around and wait for the regulations to hit you. Start using assessments right now to manage your risk. Doing it voluntarily is a super powerful way to earn trust with your customers and your employees. And for policymakers, the mandate is simple. Get on the same page. A consistent approach is going to lower costs, cut down on confusion, and build the global confidence that AI needs to really thrive safely.
I really want to leave you with this quote because I think it's so powerful. It's this great reminder that at the heart of any assessment system, you have to have people. The tech can't ask itself, hey, is this the right thing to do? That takes us. It takes human qualities like critical thinking, a healthy dose of skepticism, and a real commitment to doing right by people. That's the one thing you just can't replace.
And ultimately, that's where we are. The technology isn't on its way, it's here, and it's moving faster every single day. The big challenge of our time is no longer if we'll use AI, but how. So the real question for all of us is, are we going to do the hard work of building the guardrails we need to actually trust it?